Prof. Merkel, we're really happy and we are welcoming you. It's really a privilege to have you here with us in the MSc. I think we went really in a good progress with the MOU since we started in 2010. That was, at the beginning, it was really a challenge. And still it's a challenge, but I think MSc is very keen and interested to progress further and continue with the cooperation with the Freiburg. We learned a lot, not just for the divers, but we as a staff in the MSc, we are learning a lot from you being with us and working alongside in some of the projects which are developing now. So welcome again. I'd like to ask a few questions. First of all is, are you happy with the progress of the MOU with the Marine Science Center and with the university?
Yeah, thank you first for the nice introduction. And to answering your question, yes, I'm rather happy how things are developing. We started in 2002 from scratch. There was basically nothing before. There was no cooperation between Basra University and Freiburg University, and if you compare what we have reached now, I think we are really have done more than one step. For sure there are some other things to do in the future, but I think we are really on a good track. I'm rather happy.
Now that we are in 2, almost 3 years in the progress of the cooperation, what is your vision for further cooperation for the future?
Yeah, I do think that we can do several things. We hopefully continue with the education of the scientific divers, so that the scientific diving group here in Basra is fully established. We have now reached a certain level, but in this perspective I hope that the scientific divers from Basra can be involved in the international network of scientific divers working at different places. And this comes to the next point, that we hope that we will do joint research here in Basra, in the Gulf area, together with your divers and your institute and researchers from Germany, but also from other countries in Europe or the United States or wherever. Well, there are other things to do which have nothing to do with diving, so I think there are a lot of problems here which are rather challenging, which have to do with climate change, with water management, and even there I hope that we can exchange scientists going back and forth, visiting out in Freiburg, and scientists from Freiburg coming here, for example, master and PhD students doing their thesis here, supervised, co-supervised by scientists from Basra and from Freiburg. And so, yeah, this will bring up the cooperation and will be more lively. And this is my vision for the next 3 or 4 years.
We share the vision with you, and this is really what is the strategy or the aim of the Ministry of Higher Education, and of course that is part of the vision as well of the MSc, is to work jointly with the international expertise, because Iraq was behind the world for, I don't know, 2 or 3 decades now, and we are trying to pick up the momentum and be back actively in the international community, especially in the science area. That will develop the country, I think. That is very important for the development of the country. Actually, I was going to ask you about the importance of the scientific diving, which you already, highlighted some of the issues in this regard and the importance of science. But if you have anything else to add to that.
Yeah, scientific diving is really rather important, because if you look at our Earth, then you will, basically everybody knows it, or should know it, that 2/3 is covered by water, and mainly by ocean that means by salt water, and probably we know more about the backside of the moon than about these ocean areas. And in particular there, again, we know quite a lot about rather deep parts, for example, about the mid-ocean ridge. They have been investigated rather roughly in the last 3 decades, but in particular the shallow part is not so much investigated at all. And this is part where we can do investigation to a depth of roughly 50 meters by rather cheap and low-cost techniques, and this is using divers. But of course, these divers have to be special divers. They have to be scientists which are educated in diving and working underwater. And by this we have a lot of challenges and we have a lot of work to do. And this is not only true for Iraq, this is true for all coastal areas where we have these shallow water, and we have a lot of problems, in particular in the coastal lines due to the heavy overpopulation, due to problems with wastewater discharge to the ocean side, and so biodiversity is threatened. And there are a lot of things to do, and therefore I think it is very, very important that each country is building up capacities in this field of research, and this is even true for many other countries, even in Europe. We are still working on this area. And construct an international network where all work together. This is really an important and challenging thing for the future, no question at all.
Just from our point of view as well, and we think this scientific diving is the first for Iraq, especially our territorial water, for scientists to go and see what is beneath the water. There are a few divers that went fish salvaging and other things, but not for scientific purposes. I think this is amazing that first time Iraq have divers with the cooperation of Freiburg University to go and look under the water, what is there. Thank you. For the further development of the program, for the scientific diving program, are there specific things that you see we need to move forward, to build the capacity, in, other than just the training that is done now by with the Freiburg University?
For sure, you have to build up capacity so that you in future can train your divers on your own. So now we have brought the thing to a certain level, and we would be happy to accompany you on your further way to develop, but you have to build your own capacity so that you can train in future your own divers. This is one thing. The other thing I already mentioned, that we establish this international network, where we work together, where we work according to the same rules of security and safety, which is very important, because working underwater is not as easy as working just in the field or in the laboratory, so we have to take care for certain security aspects. For example, before you do any dive, you have to do a certain risk assessment, and then you decide whether you can do it or not, or you should do it or not. So this is very important, and probably you have even to develop special equipment, or you have to achieve special equipment which you need for the investigation, because even a scientific diver needs some equipment to work underwater. So the first thing, of course, is having a camera or a video camera for documentation, but this is only one step. The next step is that you need certain tools for taking samples, for taking readings directly in situ and all this. And so I think here there is still a lot of things to do, and this needs some investment, of course.
Thank you very much. Coming back to the Memorandum of Understanding between Freiburg and our university and the Marine Science Center, what the challenges you see and how we can progress it easier and faster. And is it working, you think?
Memorandum of understanding are signed rather quickly, and then this is a piece of paper, and unfortunately sometimes we see that afterwards nothing happens, but in this particular case we have seen the opposite. Things had moved, we had really active work between scientists and from private and from Basra, and I'm pretty sure that it will work in the future as well, but it has always to do with persons. You need persons on the one side and persons on the other side, and the chemistry between the persons has to be fine, otherwise it does not work. I think we are really on a good track, as I said before, because it works, and therefore I don't see any reason why it should not work in the future. I'm really convinced that this will that we will see more progress, that we will see common publication, which is always important because at the end of the day, an international publication, this is what or how we measure scientific work and scientific outcome. And I'm pretty sure that we will start this year with the first publication, and next publication will come in the future.
Of course, this is the ultimate for any scientist, is to publish internationally and work jointly with international, well-recognized, well-known universities, and professors like yours will be a privilege to us here in Basra University. Finally, the question about safety and security in field coming to Basra and working here, how do you feel about that?
I'm not an expert in security, but
yourself,
I
as
just
a person
can express my feeling, and I'm feeling absolutely safe here. I have no problem to come to Basra. I had no problem to come in Basra in 2010, and I think it is a safe place. Things can happen everywhere. If I cross the street, I can have an accident, and this can happen really everywhere, and so I'm absolutely fine with the situation here. But as I said, I'm not an expert.
But would you recommend if a scientist, international scientist, come and ask you how is the safety situation in Basra particularly, would you recommend that they come or not, or what would you tell them?
I would tell him what my feeling is, that it is an absolutely safe place, and that he could come to Basra, fly to Basra, and enjoy the city here. I have no reason to say that we should be very carefully that he should not come. So I think this is a good place to be and a good place to work. And the hospitality is great, and so I would recommend to him to take this experience. And that's all I can say.
Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Marco.
No,
we have the pleasure of having you here, and we wish we will see you many times to come, many times.
Hope so as well.
Thank you very much.